Hello, welcome back to Open, everyone. Don't forget to get social with us at BronxNet TV and tweet me too while you're there at Rena Valentine. On a Wednesday, October 26th, Latino Rebels Radio will record their weekly podcast in front of a live audience for the first time ever. During this edition, they will discuss the history and future of the Puerto Rican community in the Bronx. And here now to tell us more, we welcome one of the panelists of this evening's event, and he's also an author, consultant and director of the Bronx Writers Center. Please welcome Charlie Vasquez. Hi.
How are you? It's nice to be back.
Thank you for being here with us, and thank you for all the wonderful work you are doing, Charlie.
It's my pleasure.
Charlie, how many people have been published since you became the director of the Bronx Writers Center?
I don't know. Quite a few, but it comes naturally for me.
It's just the whole. There's a shift. All right. Now we have a lot of authors. Our history is being documented. Mm-hmm. Our history is accessible.
It was about time.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it was about
time. So
I'm
glad to contribute to that. I'm not the only one, but I put my work out there. I let people know that I let people know what I'm up to, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes.
I understand, but the truth of the matter is not only are you doing it yourself, you provide a platform for other people to accomplish it as well. Mm-hmm. And I just find that to be, it's a gift. It's a gift to be able to man yourself, even though you have a team, but just to be able to put yourself aside for a moment and make sure that it gets paid forward and that we're being documented. And with that, we can lead into the live from El Bronx, right? Because Rebel Radio, right? Latino Rebels Radio. I know that they have been very vocal about a lot of injustice and the fact that they're doing this live presentation here in the Bronx, and you're one of the panelists. Can you share how this even came about?
Sure. Well, I think it's very timely that this discussion be had now with all of the changes happening in the Bronx, the Puerto Rican community's history here. I was born and raised here. As a Puerto Rican as well. So it feels personal, but it's also, in my professional platform, I interact with a lot of people of Puerto Rican heritage from the island, from here, from other parts of the U.S. who come to the Bronx. So we have the Promesa bill happening on the island. We have gentrification and displacement happening at the same time, and the relationship between the two, even though people tend to consider those two very different issues, I see a correlation there as people arrive in our borough from the island. So where does that position the Bronx Council on the Arts, for example, where I direct the Bronx Writers Center? We need to start having these conversations about what gentrification means, how that's going to impact the community, and what we can do to not be displaced from our communities and to sort of set the stage to welcome newcomers to the borough at the same time and not getting displaced by that movement.
Right.
So it's a really, really prickly conversation.
It is.
And when the arts, as we know, are a big engine for the transformation of neighborhoods and economic stimulation, if you will, gentrification. There's different names for it. So I think on the 26th, when I sit with Bill Aguado, the former executive director of the Bronx Council on the Arts, Council Speaker Melissa Mark Viverito, and the actress Liza Colon Sayas, will be moderated by Latino Rebels founder Julio Ricardo Varela, who's also a journalist and works with Maria Hinojosa at Latino USA. So I think between the five of us, a lot of these issues will be examined from different points of view by people from different genders who are coming from the same cultural place.
So this is actually going to be done in a multimedia form, right? And it's going to be done at the Bronx Library
Center,
right?
Yep.
And so this is for Blog Talk Radio. Is it Blog Talk?
I believe Audio Boom.
Audio Boom.
Audio Boom is the company that will be relaying the broadcast, and so I think Julio and Marlena Fitzpatrick of Latino Rebels collaborated with them to get the technical aspect in place.
Right. I mean, well, the reason I'm even mentioning that is because, social media is a whole nother anomaly. And the reach is really probably even wider and broader. And I understand that they have millions of listeners, in the millions.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Latino Rebels platform, it's a multi-platform. So there's a Twitter platform, there's the WordPress blog, there's the Facebook page. So it's hard to measure the outreach in certain numbers, but I would say into the many hundreds of thousands.
Well, Audio Boom,
Yeah.
I think, is listed as
Yeah.
like having 35 million
Sure.
viewers. I mean, listeners, I should say,
Yep.
throughout their. I mean, it would be all of their clients, I guess. But just the fact that that's even a number,
Yep.
that people actually have access
Yep.
to that many listeners, it's a big deal. And I just wanted to share that with our viewers because, well, they've chosen to be here in the Bronx and record this live at the Bronx Library Center.
Well, I think the Bronx is kind of hot right now, you know, and from those of us who are here or from here, I think that comes with a lot of mixed feelings. For those of us who've had to live with the stigma of the Bronx, and now we have Cranes, New York, writing about, you know, forget about Bushwick, the Bronx is the next arts mecca. And I think that we need to proceed along these lines cautiously and be wary of people from the outside defining us, because I think that's something that, for those of us who are natives, has become frustrating over time. All of a sudden, the Bronx exists.
Right.
We've been here all this time making art I work for an arts council that's older than I am, and I'm 45 years old. So arts and culture is not new to the Bronx. What we need to let people know is if you're coming to the Bronx, you will be adding on to a legacy that's been happening for a long time. Going back to the 19th century, if you want to start with Edgar Allan Poe in the 1840s in the Fordham district, and he was scratching by to make a living as a writer. So this narrative is very dangerous, and I think that it's our responsibility from the inside to say, no, you're not bringing arts and culture to the Bronx. You are contributing to something that's been happening for a very long time. Don't confuse the two.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a powerful statement.
It's my job to keep it real.
And you are.
Yeah.
And you are. So how long do you anticipate this panel going on? And what should people, I guess, look forward to hearing and learning?
I imagine that Julio will pose questions to us that each of us, along these lines and others, I'm coming
Right.
from an arts, from a native Bronxite arts perspective. But I imagine that politics will come into it. I imagine gender will come into it. I imagine Melissa's journey as a politician, Bill's journey as an arts arts executive. Yeah. Liza is a sort of an emerging actress on
Right.
TV. So I think the conversation will circulate amongst the four of us relating to whatever Julio poses, and I imagine that the community will have some time at the end for a Q&A. It'll become more of like a town hall thing where we're not dictating from the stage. It becomes sort of this rounded affair.
Right, so that everybody's involved and
Sure.
everybody's voice is heard. So what time does it start and what time does it end?
6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Bronx Library Center. You can go to LatinoRebels.com if you have any questions about how to get there or where that is. Yeah, so
Thank you, Charlie.
cool. Thank you so much.
Of course, Charlie Vasquez, everybody.
See you again soon. Thank
Oh,
you.
yes. Once again, live from El Bronx, a Latino Rebels radio special event is taking place on Wednesday, October 26th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And, well, if you want to be a part of their live studio audience, which of course they're looking for all of us to join them, it's all happening at the Bronx Library Center, located on 310 East Kingsbridge Road. And for more information, please visit LatinoRebels.com.
Folks need to RSVP. RSVP at LatinoRebels.com.
And you must RSVP according to Charlie Vasquez because the seating is limited. So
Yes.
please RSVP. All right, we are taking a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.